Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, June 14th, 2018. The main fire potential impacts expected for the next 7 days are going to be occurring in the short term, particularly today and Friday, with some dry, gusty conditions out ahead of a low pressure system that'll be moving into the Great Basin for the weekend. And we'll also see some isolated thunderstorms moving up into south central and southeast Utah today and spreading a little bit further northward into the Uinta Basin by Friday. On Saturday, some of those storms in southeast Utah will become a little bit wetter and will likely decrease fire potential somewhat there, at least for a few days. Weather for the past 24 hours is shown here with little to no precipitation and very little, practically no lightning activity as well. Current Great Basin fire activity is shown on this map with a few new initial attack fires popping up over southern Idaho and northern Utah, and we did see some pretty good growth on the Trail Mountain fire in central Utah yesterday. The observed precipitation for the past 14 days is shown here, still continuing with the very dry trend over particularly Nevada and Utah. Relative humidities have been exceptionally dry across many of these areas. However, we will begin to see a bit of a change in that regard for the weekend, with a little bit more moisture moving into the Great Basin. Current ERCs remain very high, especially over southern and eastern Utah, where we're very close to the record maximum for the time of year, and sitting over the 97th percentile across far southeast Utah, and between the 90th and 97th percentile over much of southern and eastern Utah. Elsewhere across the geographic area, values have been on the rise, but are still below the 70th percentile. Here we're showing just a few sagebrush live field moisture samples in Nevada, where those values are above normal for the time of year. However, the main fire problem in western Nevada right now is the carryover grasses from last year that are dead and dry from the winter and are still available to carry fire. This morning's satellite imagery shows a little bit of moisture moving up from the southwest into far southeast and eastern Utah. That's where we'll see some of those isolated thunderstorms kick off today. You can also see that area of low pressure starting to move into the Pacific Northwest, and that will increase the winds over southern Nevada and western Utah today. By this afternoon, we'll see that dry, gusty weather move into southern Nevada and southern and western Utah. And we'll also see some of those isolated thunderstorms where we see that green moisture track move up into southeast Utah. High-risk triggers have been issued for wind for southern Nevada, southeast Utah, and the Uinta Basin, and for lightning elsewhere across southern and southeast Utah. Taking a closer look at the wind, the highest winds are expected to occur over southwest and south central Utah today. And we'll see those isolated thunderstorms popping up over central and eastern Utah. By tomorrow, that area of low pressure strengthens and begins to move further south. This will bring some moisture and better chance for showers and thunderstorms into Idaho. And across the south, we'll see a better chance for some moisture being pulled up from the southwest into south central and southeast Utah. And we'll also see strong winds out ahead of that area of low pressure in Nevada and western Utah. So we're still looking for high-risk triggers for the wind over southern Nevada and western Utah, and then lightning continuing over south central and eastern Utah. Those areas will also be on the windy side. The strongest winds continue to be forecast for southwest Utah, with very gusty conditions also in place over southern Nevada, portions of northern Utah, and eastern Utah. The chances for showers and thunderstorms increase over Idaho on Friday, with even high elevation snow possible over the central Idaho mountains. Those isolated, generally dry thunderstorms will spread further north in Utah as well. By Saturday, slightly deeper moisture will move into eastern Utah, which will give us a better chance for some wetter showers and thunderstorms and increased relative humidities there, which could bring down the overall fire danger for the first time in a few weeks, really, over central and eastern Utah. We're still looking for some pretty strong winds over southern Nevada and portions of southwest Utah as well, but the relative humidities may be a little bit higher in some of those areas in western Utah. So look here at those wind gusts. Still looking for gusts up to 40, 45 miles an hour, possible over southern Nevada and far western Utah. But we'll see those better chance for showers, which may have a little bit more precipitation with them on Saturday over portions of central and far eastern Utah. However, we're not looking for a widespread winning rain event here, but just enough to bring down a little bit of our very extreme fire danger indices. The 3-day precipitation accumulation totals are shown here. Again, looking for the best chance for precip coming to the mountains of central Idaho and western Wyoming, but also seeing a chance for some showers over far northern Nevada and far eastern Utah, especially over the higher elevations. On Sunday, the low pressure remains the dominant feature over the Great Basin. Will start to move further east through the northern half of the geographic area. This will bring temperatures down just a bit area-wide, and we'll still see some breezy conditions over portions of the central Great Basin. No high-risk triggers have been issued on Sunday, as some higher relative humidities will decrease the potential for those high-risk triggers. And by Monday, the low pressure remains with us for continued chance of some showers and thunderstorms, particularly across the north and even moving into northern Nevada, as we can see on that image on the left. And dryness returns to the south. More of the same is expected on Tuesday, as that area of low pressure really kind of centers itself over the Great Basin, bringing a continued chance for some showers and thunderstorms and cooler temperatures across much of the geographic area. Not much changes for Wednesday, although some dryness will begin to return to the Great Basin. The 7-day precipitation totals are shown here, with a pretty healthy amount of precip possible across the northern half of the geographic area, including far northern Nevada and even some of the higher elevations of northern and northeast Utah. This should decrease our overall fire danger, especially in some of those areas that have been setting records for this time of year, particularly northeast Utah. The extended forecast from the Climate Prediction Center for the week of June 21st is calling for above normal temperatures for the northern half of the geographic area and above normal chances for precipitation, once again in the forecast for Utah and even portions of Nevada. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.